Okay, for those of you who chose the Taylor Swift album, the one and only, the OG, this is your reading to help illuminate issues that maybe are coming back from your past. So we're going to explore that, but the message from this first oracle card here, along with this clear quartz, is the Rose of Venus. Alignment, flow, right relationship, and harmony. So perhaps you had a bit of a rocky road in dating. There might have been a childhood crush that, you know, perhaps didn't know you existed, or you did things for this person in hopes that they would recognize where your intentions are coming from, and they just didn't. I think that there is reason for this because we learn a lot about ourselves within the context of relationships, and more importantly, what we're willing to do for others that we're not willing to do for ourselves. And so this harmony card, or this harmony message that is coming up, is highlighting a sense of peace that you are longing for. White is very clear in this card as it represents innocence, purity, and new beginnings. And you are just seeking some wholesome experiences in your romance. Perhaps something from your past is triggering your current romantic situation, or it's affecting your ability to find and or sustain love. Okay? So I am going to get 3 songs. I have my little magic cup here. I'm going to get 3 songs from the OG Taylor Swift album, and we're going to clarify those with some tarot cards. Here, I'm gonna okay. I wanted to make sure that they were relatively shuffled, so here we go. We have Mary's song, Oh My My My. I actually was just listening to it. I thought it would help to sort of channel the energy by listening to some of the album. And essentially it talks about an appreciation and nostalgia for simpler times. It sort of reminds me of the movie The Notebook, but like if they were to know each other as kids. So maybe you had a childhood crush on someone who was in your neighborhood. Let's see, we have Stay Beautiful. This is like one of the first songs that came up as I was listening. And I love it because she's wishing for this person to remain beautiful, even though the relationship might not have worked out, which is a very healthy attitude when it comes to seeing your past relationships as they have gotten you to where you are today. Okay. We also have Cold as You, and it's interesting because cold and snow is white. You might not have anticipated the way this person hurt you, and maybe there's still some processing there. With the Mary's song, she's talking about sort of this lifelong romance that she has with a partner, and the beauty that comes from that. However, it may not be as easy to choose just that one person and be with them for the rest of your life. I am actually, and also Cold as You, like someone might have left you out in the cold, or maybe they did something that really hurt, that you found out about perhaps even through another person. So I'm going to encourage you to work with crystals, white crystals like clear quartz. I have a little piece of selenite here. in addition to howlite, because there might be occurrences from your past that are coming up again, and maybe that still needs to process. And I find that whenever I use howlite, especially when I'm journaling, I find a very deep connection with myself and my thoughts. So those are some crystals that you might want to consider working with. And we're going to clarify. I also have a piece of peacock ore as well, just because I felt for some reason drawn to it. But it's also known as chalcopyrite. And I think there's beauty in authenticity and agency, and really looking back at memories and looking at it from a different perspective. So let's look at Mary's song. Oh my, my, my. Oops. She went out. Okay, let's see. So Mary's song. How does Mary's song relate to pile one and the feelings that they might be feeling from the past? Your name might be Mary, or your mother, or someone significant. It's too many cards. Mary's song. I also would always think when I was a kid, because I started listening to Taylor Swift very young. I would say not very young. I honestly, to be TBH, I was not a fan of Taylor Swift at first. I don't know why. And then I started listening to her music. I must have been between 10 and 12 when I first started listening to her. Now a sip of my coffee. What does Mary's song reveal? What messages does Mary's song reveal for the collective in understanding their past relationships? Interesting. We have Judgment here, and Judgment is about rebirth. It's about it's Pluto. I don't know why I said it like that. It's Pluto. It's which has like scorpionic. It's also interesting that we have Angel Gabriel playing a musical instrument, and perhaps I'm gonna go in with a pun here. Music, lyrics, poetry might be instrumental in helping you process the past. There might have been a significant relationship that you had that affected your perception of judgment about the world, about others around you. Maybe when you were little and if your parents had a very strained relationship, you might have been weary of marriage and long-term relationships because you were afraid of sticking around in case they left. I don't know. And if I'm wrong, I mean, we do also have the Five of Swords, which is Venus and Aquarius vibes. So you also might not have necessarily fit in with the status quo. But also, I don't think that you're someone who likes to argue or likes to fight. And obviously, we all have times when anger comes out. But I don't think that you're not able to understand why this person does what he does. But look at that, we have the 10 of Cups. And the 10 of Cups is sort of the happy ending card that we tend to associate. But it's Mars and Pisces. Venus and Aquarius is the Five of Swords. We also have increments of 5. We have 5 and then 10 and then 20. 5 has to do with this need for freedom. Anyways, okay, we're gonna clarify. I really apologize for this. Let me move some of these crystals here because I want for all the cards to be able to have their time in the spotlight, so to speak. So I'm going to put the Howlite over here. You can still see it. This sort of reminds me of the whole Mary song, though, and how you're looking back at your life and you're just so grateful for how the past has gotten you to where you are today. Okay, so then we have Stay Beautiful, which it's one of my favorite songs on that album. What does Stay Beautiful have to say? The song Stay Beautiful, can you clarify what message Stay Beautiful has for the collective who chose this pile? We have the Hermit, okay? I'm gonna put this here. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And so you might not have always seen whatever situation from your past. And this doesn't have to be a relationship, by the way, even though Taylor's songs heavily tend towards past relationships. This might have felt like you didn't really know that you were beautiful, or you had a hard time processing information, or grasping your life purpose. And we also have the King of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. This is stability. This also, if you did have a relationship at one point with someone who was much older than you, and it's when you date someone who's older, sometimes there's contrast when it comes to understanding what the other person is going through. I'm sensing, though, that if you came from a relationship that didn't make you happy, it doesn't have to be over. It doesn't have to mean that you don't deserve someone else. And then for Cold as You, let's see. We have the Two of Pentacles in reverse, and this might have been either someone who wasn't able to be there for you enough because maybe they were so wrapped up in their work that it was really hard for them to separate and make time for you. But also, like this Two of Pentacles, we have the Sun at the bottom of the deck. There might have also been issues with children, and maybe not feeling some type of way about this person relative to them hitting some sort of wound from your childhood, or you could have had kids within this, either within this relationship, or this person had kids from another relationship. And it just felt like all of the blame, or not all of the blame, but all of the responsibility fell onto you. When you never really wanted it in the first place. And obviously, this is a general reading, so not all messages are going to resonate. Keep that in mind. I also think that Cold as You I believe that was also the 5th song in the album, and it's sort of this halfway point, because when we lose relationships, or maybe this person couldn't keep up a job, that's another thing. They had a really hard time balancing their finances, and or even being honest about the state of their finances. And this is almost you walking away with the knowledge and the freedom that comes with independence. So maybe leaving this partner was necessary for you because they were never really wanting to break it off, or this person was juggling you and someone else relative to some sort of affair. And this could be an emotional one. It doesn't necessarily have to mean that they were sleeping together or they were doing, you know, they were having physical relations. You might perceive the situation differently now, or this person is either trying to come back into your life, or memories of this person, they're either seeping through in your dreams, or their memories and things that happen within that relationship, perhaps patterns learned, are becoming destructive with you now in other relationships. I want to get another tarot deck, and I usually use my astrological tarot, but I'm actually leaning towards the Psychic Tarot by John Holland. These songs also describe radically different attitudes about romance, and so it's almost like seeing like this charcuterie board of experiences that I think honestly have led you to want more in your life. Okay, so I'm just gonna get any clarifiers for this group because I'm curious. We have the throat chakra and we have the suffering in silence, which in this deck represents the Nine of Swords. And it kind of reminded me of the Two of Pentacles in reverse, but also the Five of Swords, when it's like things that are bothering us fall to the wayside because either life, like a present circumstance, is getting in the way, or you just are really trying to avoid speaking your needs and advocating for yourself. So any clarifiers? What does pile 1 need to know relative to the first song? Interesting, very interesting, because we have emotional loss with the Five of Cups, but we also have the Three of Swords here that talks about heartache and loss. And I'm also sensing with this Judgment card that perhaps you even tried couples therapy, or you even suggested couples therapy to sort of help bring a little bit more balance into the situation and to have someone help mediate. I'm also, or like there could have been a spirituality component. Both of these cards though talk about emotional expectations not being met or emotional needs not being met. Now, for some of you, this is a very, very specific message, but you could have lost this person physically to either some sort of car accident or a disease. And it almost makes me feel like you have less time to spend with this person, or you didn't get to do everything you wanted to do with this person. And that in itself is this bittersweet moment. And this person wants you to know that they see you and they treasure the memories that they were able to spend with you. What message do you have for Stay Beautiful? We have the New Beginnings card, and I think if this was a second love, maybe the breakup went a little bit more smooth, or you learned a lot from that relationship that helped carry you over into the next one, because the Hermit sort of represents a teacher as well. And we also have the fourth chakra here on the bottom of the card. So I think this is also a new way that you've harnessed as to learn, like when learning how to love yourself. Can you clarify the third song? But what does it mean to show yourself true love? You know what I'm saying? Because we always think of true love relative to another person. We have Temperance in reverse, which in this deck is patience. So maybe you were patient about giving them, and like you kept giving them chance after chance after chance, hoping that they would change, and that never happened. And we also have Stand Your Ground with the Seven of Wands. So there could have been instances where in this relationship you really know what you want, and you're also willing to assess what you need, and you're getting better about advocating for yourself. We're gonna just roll some astro dice here. Okay, so I lost my first pair of astro dice. I just dropped. So yeah, I lost my first pair of astro dice, and then I got a new set for Christmas, and then I actually found two of the missing ones, so this is why I have two here. So we're gonna get the two areas of your life, and then two planetary influences, and then I'm gonna roll the astro dice with the signs on it 3 times to see what major astrological influences are having. So this could be someone from your present or someone from your past, or even signs that could highlight your your own personal placements. So sun, moon, rising, or Venus. Interesting that we have 8 and 12. Those are both water sign houses, 12 being Pisces, 8 being Scorpio. So some of you could have a sun, moon, or rising within your 8th or 12th houses. We also have Saturn twice, which means that you have to care, if you had Saturn in your 8th house, or if you have Saturn in your 12th house, or this could represent Saturn, this could be, for example, one could be you, one could be your partner. This is using loss to welcome new beginnings and accepting that things are not always going to be the same. And sometimes that requires walking away from a person because they no longer have that capacity to meet your emotions, or meet you halfway. There's no sense of compromise. Let me see. So the 3, but because 8th house talks about death and rebirth, and 12 is all about our unconscious beliefs, or subconscious beliefs rather, about ourselves based on what we have learned through relationships. Okay. You also might either have Saturn in Pisces or Saturn in Scorpio. So I would highly recommend you look at your natal chart, or your astro chart. And if you would like me to do that for you, I always link my Etsy shop down below. So we have Virgo, we have Leo, and we have Scorpio. So Scorpio, Virgo, and Leo, those could represent your personal placements or a significant person in your life that is meant to teach us a lesson. And that's also what I want to emphasize here, is that there is room for happy endings for everyone. You sort of just, you have to accept that sometimes in order to get to this 10 of Cups, you have to go through this emotional loss first. And I will say, speaking from experience, I never thought, for example, that I would get cheated on, or that the first person, and obviously I was really naive, but I also think that there's something to be said about not judging ourselves based on our past and saying, well, we should have known better, we should have known to say no, to have said no, or we should have broken up with this person sooner. Everything happens for a reason, and people enter our lives for a season, whether that be continuously, whether this be forever, whether this be they come and then they go. But we learn from those relationships, and we learn what we need in future relationships. So it's really, really important. I also will say that with Saturn here, there might be things from your past or things from your partner's past, if you are with someone, that again it's sort of messing with the flow. And this is a sign that this is a sign to welcome introspection and reflection. Dive within. Okay, and then I want to get just a romance oracle, because Taylor Swift is known to talk about a romance oracle. But I think there's definitely potential for a new beginning here. And that also comes with forgiveness, forgiving your ex. You could even write letters to your exes and just not send them, but expressing gratitude for what you've learned about yourself and forgiving them for the hurt that they have maybe caused. And I understand, I credit my Aunt Maria. She is like my fairy godmother, but she would always tell me to forgive. And in the moment, I was like, what are you talking about? This person caused me so much pain. I was so angry and I was almost in denial. But now looking at it 5-6 years later, I understand the importance of forgiving, and obviously doing it within your own time, respecting yourself and respecting your emotions, to hold that space for yourself in healing. But ultimately, there's something to be said about creation. With Miley Cyrus's song Flowers, for example, it almost felt like a commemorative piece. Like, she has moved on, and obviously moving on is not slamming the door on it and just forgetting about the past, but it's being able to have this mindset of, I went through this and I'm stronger because of it. Yes, we have free yourself. It's time to take back control of your life, whether this be control from a situation in the past and you're harnessing what it is that you need, but also if you have been feeling trapped in a relationship, this is your sign to free yourself and doing whatever you need to do for you, not for the sake of the other person. Which, that's only in like certain cases. I'm not saying just leave your partner in the dust, but if this has been a destructive relationship, freedom is on the horizon for you. But I'm also, I also just heard that you're free to make your own decisions. You're free to make your own choices. So don't forget your own autonomy. And we also have trust. This situation is calling you to have faith. I'm trust the situation, I guess. I would say trust your emotions, but also you might be rebuilding trust after it has been broken. That's what I'm hearing. Let's draw one more. Look at what Spirit just sums it up here. We have forgiving and learning. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments. I highly, highly recommend meditation. You don't have to sit in quiet. You don't have to sit in silence. I would say you might find guided meditations to be really helpful. Spirituality was something that I really clung to, more so in my second breakup. In my first breakup, I was like, spirituality who? Like, I took my anger out at the world, and I took my anger out on my spirit guides, because I was like, how could you let this happen? And in the moment, we see what happens in our relationships as like the worst possible scenario. But I think there's something to be said about what it is that we gain from those losses. So yeah, that is what I have for you. I hope that this reading helps. I also would recommend the book Be the Cause by Judy Rosenberg. She is a PhD. She also has her own podcast. Let's just see what happens if we... Yeah, I flipped to panel 1 because she uses this system of a mind map. I'm gonna just leave this for you if you want to read it. I highly recommend this book. Whether you're a therapist, whether you're a counselor in training, or whether you're just an everyday person looking to genuinely heal from past trauma, this is a powerful, and it's not even that long. Do you see? It's not even that long, and this is who she is. But anyways, I will leave you with that. Adios, arrivederci, ciao ciao, I'll see you later, toodles! Welcome for those who chose the Fearless album. I'm so excited to channel these messages for you. So with that being said, I'm going to take Fearless, her second album, to talk mainly about obstacles that are holding you back. The last one, so the OG Taylor Swift album, was centered around your roots or your past and how it's affecting the present. So this one is going to be obstacles that have been blocking you. And I have a whole pick a card reading. I just filmed it. And it's on my channel now, so I will link that below or above in the cards as well. But I chose to charge your deck with a piece of raw rose quartz, and this album is bringing up the message of the second bloom, which I love. So this is the Rose Oracle deck. If you're curious, I will try to remember to link all of my decks down below in the description box. But we have a second chance. It's never too late. New possibilities. Now I'm seeing, even though Taylor Swift focuses a lot of her, majority of her albums on past relationships, I'm not seeing as much of a romance feel as much as a life purpose career reading. Now that being said, if you are coming to this pile and being like, okay, hold on, we will get to everything, because this is a collective reading. I just wanted to mention that, okay? Okay, so a second chance. Oh, also, so as I was sitting down, something told me that obstacles were in your way last time. Because oftentimes, if something doesn't work out, our ego is protecting us because we don't want to get hurt like that again. And so, they're like, well, it's not happening for you. An example of this is school. If you never had a positive relationship with learning, specifically within a classroom setting, you might be telling yourself no. However, maybe there is something that you're wanting to do that requires you to either get a certification or perhaps even return for an undergrad or going to getting your master's or PhD or something. Don't hold yourself back. That's what this card is really welcoming, is a second attempt at it. Now, the way I'm seeing this for myself is I had to take a break from grad school because circumstances, okay? I was going through a lot of processing new trauma and old trauma coming back. And I had to take a step back. And so part of me was I was telling myself that I wasn't going to be able to go back for some reason, or like maybe being a counselor is too much, because like, what if I don't do something right? There's a lot of pressure when you go to school to be a counselor, because there's a lot more layers than I think people assume. However, I will say within like the last 2 years, I haven't felt more like of wanting it more, you know? Like, so just because life circumstances held you back at some point, that doesn't mean that your dream is forever. It's not like it's gone. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time with words right now. Let me get a sip of coffee. But also returning to a situation with the knowledge that you have, or the knowledge that you currently have, might help you. Okay, let's see. I'm going to draw 3 songs from the Taylor Swift Fearless album, and I did include Taylor's version. So there's more than just the traditional. And I will be attempting to use different tarot decks throughout each of the piles, so it's never going to be the same. And I like to mix it up that way. So we have The Best Day. This is a song that I actually sang for my father on Father's Day when I was 13. And honestly, I didn't really have, I don't know why, like I think I did it just to be nice. And my father was not like her father. Let's just put it that way. You know, if she was talking about her mom, maybe that's a different story. I don't know. But that song fills me with happy memories. I can relate a lot to it. And then we have The Other Side of the Door. What is this? The other side of the door. Like you're seeing it from a new perspective. And then we have, oopsies. The Best Day talks more about her childhood than anything. Hey, Steven. I love that, like the rhythm of that song. Okay, anyways. You might be telling like someone like, hey, like you might be trying to get your attention, or vice versa, in which someone is trying to get your attention. Okay, so can you clarify the best day? What messages are you highlighting from the best day about relative to pile 2's current obstacles and blockages? Yeah, we have the 4 of Cups. So you might be having hard days, in other words, and you might just, her shirt, I love the imagery of this card because it says over it, and then there's the 3 cups, which sort of represent your current your current circumstances or the current emotions, and it's just like you're not feeling stimulated. And this is the moon in Cancer, so some of you who are watching this might be a moon in Cancer, and there's this new opportunity that is coming from the other side of the door, okay, even though we're clarifying the best day right now. And both like the moon and Cancer, like they're like this, okay? Like the Cancer rules the house of the moon, for those of you who don't really know astrology. And it's just when you connect with your emotions on a deeper level. Yeah, and we also have, because we have the 8 of Wands at the bottom of the deck, and the 8 of Wands is a card of acceleration. But you might need this push from a new inspiration in order to feel like you're truly getting somewhere. And then, yeah, we have the 3 of Swords there. So you might find it difficult, or like even with the phone here, you might feel over someone, either like they're not returning your calls or responding to your texts, or they're not hearing you and you're over it. Oh, isn't that a song too? Okay, let's clarify the other side of the door. For this group who picked the Fearless album, what is the other side of the door highlighting for? Yeah, you guys might have to go back to school, or you guys might be just learning from life right now. It's interesting because on the bottom of this card is the Four of Swords, and typically the Four of Swords is associated with rest, meditation, being in tune with our thoughts, and the Four of Cups is reminding us to be in tune with our emotions. I'm going to leave this card here. This could also be you learn by doing, or you learn by observing the environment around you. Let's clarify, hey Stephen, and then look at this message. Hey Stephen. We got the Page of Wands. This is almost like cat and mouse for some of you. Like, maybe you've been friends with this person for the long, yeah, and then we have the Nine of Cups. So like, maybe you've been friends with a person and you've been trying to get their attention, but they're just not hearing you. There's only minor arcanas in this card selection so far. So this is telling me that there's minor shifts or minor attitudes, not minor, but like adjustments that need to be made relative to the mindset, specifically a beginner mind. Because a lot of the times we can make assumptions about, well, we already know this, or I've already been through this, I've done it, like I'm checking this box, but we're not taking our time and genuinely soaking up as much information as we can. This is also, like, yoga might be really, really amazing for coming to a space of inner peace where you're more likely to let your mind wander about what it is that you really want from this moment on. Because we do have, like, if I just put the cards like this, right, there's some sort of newfound inspiration that is propelling you forward. You just have to recognize what that is, or what that looks like. When do you feel like you have your best days, or what makes you feel like you're at your best? Whether that means putting on some clothes, or like doing your makeup, or fixing up your hair, taking a shower, like all of those things, or maybe even getting up early so that you can have some time just for you. Moving your body, because like we also have the Page of Wands and the Page of Pentacles, and they're both outside in areas that are not so congested and saturated with social media. This is almost asking you to get out of your own head, because your thoughts are negatively impacting the way that you are seeing life right now. And I am not trying to make it sound like it's as easy as, you know, closing your eyes and wishing for something to happen. But there's a stagnancy that you're trying to get away from, and this requires you to take action on something that maybe you've had in your mind for some time. I really think red crystals and yellow crystals and pink crystals are going to help you. So I have a piece of red jasper here. There's some rose quartz. Even, hey, let's throw some amethyst in there, and some goldstone, which is really helpful. And then, you know, even some tiger's eye, and even citrine if you have it. Because I really think that you need to believe that you can do it. And right now you're not your biggest cheerleader. And maybe you need the help of a friend, okay? Maybe you might not even, like, you don't need to live right next door to them in order to have some sort of accountability partner. This is determination that is going to be long-standing with this Nine of Cups here. This also could be, for example, a book or a story that has been in your head swirling around, and you have rough drafts in old notebooks, or you have character notes in old journals, but the universe is asking you to bring it to life. Because when we don't take action on the dreams that we want to do, the universe is gonna, like, if she doesn't take this cup, the universe is like, okay, well, I'm gonna bring this cup to somebody else who is ready to receive. I also am recognizing that there might need to be some sort of reconciliation that happens between either you and a friend, or just even a conversation, because I think friends can help illuminate the bigger picture for us, because they've known us and we don't really understand the impact of our own perception, right? If we're not consciously aware of it. Whereas when we tell our friends something and they have more insight, because, I mean, assuming that they're listening when you tell them stuff about your life, like, they're able to propel you emotionally in a different direction that can then lead you to this. But I also think that you need to develop a more compassionate way of talking to yourself. I think that for some of you, you're very burnt out in the job that you're in, and you're ready to try something different. That said, you are still in the process of mapping out how you're going to go about that. So I would strongly recommend focusing with this Page of Pentacles on what you value, because your values determine your vision, and your vision is what makes manifestation possible. You also might want to develop a mood board or a vision board of what it is that you want to accomplish. Okay, that might help you get out of sort of this funk. I'm gonna draw, I will draw a love card, but I also want to get a career card as well, like a life purpose card, because you might benefit from that. So for those of you, also, I'm seeing that for those of you who are in relationships, you will sort of have this second bloom soon. Like, for example, if one of you is still in school and another of you is in the workforce, your experiences don't parallel to each other. And so it can be hard to make goals when you have one person with one foot in one area of life, and it's sort of like Twister. Let's see, pile 2. Daring yourself to try new things, even if that means a change in routine. I'm also hearing like a clean space welcomes a clear mind. It is safe for you to love. Open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. You might be thinking that this is a lot harder than it is. That being said, you just have to tap into your heart space. And your heart space, like, your heart knows what it wants. Ay, caramba, I just knocked I just knocked that down. But we also have, what makes me happy, is heart-to-heart conversations. I honestly discuss your feelings with each other. Now this could be a partnership, but it could also be with regards to friendships. But like, hey Steven, that title, it just gives me the vibe that maybe this person doesn't know what you want. You can't blame them for not being able to read your mind. And there's a lot of potential here. Now, for those of you with the Four of Swords, this can also sometimes talk about two individuals that sort of stem into one identity rather than two. It's okay for you to want similar things, but make sure you are nurturing your individuality within your relationship and making time for what it is that you want to do. Even if that means taking yourself on a solo date and getting your nails done or going to the bookstore, just changing it up at times so that it's not so focused on the relationship you have with your person or even the relationship you have with your friends. Maybe trying some sort of support group, even if you're not feeling like you're ready to open up to other people. I'm also hearing like the Wizard of Oz. I'm seeing like the yellow brick road here. Okay, hold on. We're gonna get a life purpose card. Some of you might just be in an emotionally, like you might be emotionally down because you don't currently have the resources, or like the resources saved. Resources meaning time and money. So you might be like, well, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I don't have time. I don't have the capacity at the end of the day to going to night school. I just want to say, where there's a will, there's a way. And you're either going to find a way to do it or you're going to make excuses. And I don't mean to step on the tough love here, but I just want you to know that your dreams are possible, whatever it is. Or if this a peaceful state of mind, it's possible. It just might require advocacy, and it might require you to sort of step out of your comfort zone. We have freedom, and I love this card because it shows the glorious sunset, but it also shows dolphins jumping, and it's almost like you're seeing the brighter side of life. Okay, I have crystals at the other side of the deck, or at the bottom of the deck. So crystals that I just mentioned. That being said, if you feel drawn towards a certain crystal, go for it. I also recommend just going into a crystal shop and see what your soul feels drawn to. Because I always say that I will go into a store with certain crystals in mind that I'm trying to acquire, and I walk out of the store with completely different crystals. And then I get home and I'll look up the crystal meanings either in a book or online, and I'm like, wow, I actually needed to hear that, or I needed this energy in my life. I'm also hearing like moving on from the past, forgiving yourself for what didn't work out, because I think a lot of you might have internalized that into like, it's my fault that I did something wrong, and you might not feel worthy of giving yourself a second chance. I don't know, I'm feeling called to grab a certain deck. Oopsies, not that one. Hold on. It's been a minute since I have been drawn to the Soul's Journey, the Soul's Journey deck. And so the fact that I'm feeling drawn to it might mean that there's a special message in here for you. Freedom is also, where does your heart feel free? You know, like when you're free to create something and you have this blank canvas. Sort of apply that mindset to all areas of life. Maybe you feel the most freedom in your job because you have creative agency. If you're not happy with your job, then you know that you need to there's a need for freedom for you to pursue something that your heart is passionate about. Yeah, we have growth here. I want to expand my consciousness and my awareness. And we have this flower imagery here along with the square. And it honestly, I don't have my glasses on, but this kind of looks like chains, or it looks like snake skin. But like snakes are known for shedding, and shedding old beliefs is necessary. Old belief systems is necessary for you to pursue new ones, because those were not inherently yours. Those were carried on from members of your family or friends who share those beliefs, or those beliefs came from like a wounded childhood. So you sort of have to reprogram your brain a little bit. But the desire to do that demonstrates a level of growth, because even the desire to work on ourselves, it takes effort. It takes a desire. We also have peace, which is very Four of Swords. It's very Nine of Cups. I am a being of love and I release all negative energy. What were we just saying? There's a desire for peace. The desire for peace in mind. Peace of mind. Blech. So anyways, we're just gonna roll some astro dice. Oopsies, this is not an astro dice. So I'm gonna get 2 planetary influences and 2 areas of your life where maybe freedom needs to be a priority. And you'll know what it is. The 11th house is your hopes and dreams. This is, we do have the 9 of Cups. So if you've been trying to get pregnant, this could also be adopted children or foster children or stepchildren. So there might be a connection there. I don't know why I gravitated towards that. We have 1111. You might be seeing repeating ones or repeated ones. Yeah. We have the Sun. You might be an Aquarius. Some of you might be an Aquarius. Or your sun is in the 11th house. Or you gave birth to an Aquarius baby. And then we have Saturn. Saturn being in your 11th house teaches you to have dedication when it comes to accomplishing your hopes and dreams, but also harnessing and creating structure and boundaries within communities, within friendships, and focusing on long-term growth over short-term results. And then I'm going to get 3 astrological signs for you. So we have Capricorn, which is Saturn. We have Libra, which is the house of partnerships, but also that's the house of contracts. So like some of you might want to pursue law. I don't know why I'm getting that. But. And Taurus, so Capricorn, Libra, Taurus. Those might represent you or significant others, sun, moon, rising, or Venus. So that is what I have for you. Thank you so much for tuning in, and also subscribe so you don't miss the rest of these Taylor Swift readings leading up to the Eras Tour, which I believe the Eras Tour already started. Whatever. Thank you so much. Ciao, ciao. I'll see you later. Arrivederci.